I love to start us off with a meditation for a few minutes because meditation, as I always mention, is the key to the magic of all life. And it's in the quiet stillness of a meditation where everything is, where all that magic happens. So I like to give us that opportunity to practice as we come in here and to just first bring awareness to ourselves and the energy that we're feeling as we do arrive here and feel that energy shifting from this chaos and the arriving here and getting here and all of that, and just checking in with our nervous system and how everything is going on in our inner world. And then reevaluating that energy after the meditation, discovering how that shifts and transforms everything. So you may begin to close your eyes or take a soft gaze out in front of your mat here. And we'll start by taking a deep cleansing breath in and a long purifying exhale out. Take a deep cleansing breath in. A long exhale. As we arrive back, take your time and slowly opening up the eyes. I'm letting them drift upwards. And welcome back. How do we feel?
Good. Nice.
That was amazing for me. I feel like you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
I love that. I could hear your stomachs going.
Water dripping.
Water dripping.
Yeah.
All the subtle sounds.
Yes, the chair.
The fan.
That's what I was
The
thinking.
fan.
The
The
fan.
Mm-hmm.
So good. And then do we feel the shift of energy? Because I know I do. I felt like a little riled up, and now I feel more calm, grounded, peaceful, balanced. That's the power of meditation. It's pretty amazing. And I love when we do this. So we really get an experience and feel that shift. And that was only 3 minutes. So I say, imagine if we were doing 30 minutes every day and how our lives would shift around and the miracles that we would come across in our day-to-day and in our life. Just by being still and quiet. It's all it takes is that for the universe to start arranging things for us in our favor. So I will go ahead and open up our session today with an icebreaker for all of us, I suppose, in a way that we introduce ourselves and state your name, where you're from, where you live now, and I'm changing it up today.
Oh!
What is your favorite food? Choice of food. Right? And if you still have something that you're grateful for and would like to share that, totally open for that as well. But I thought we'd fire up some new neural pathways today and get out of the old and into something new. Usually we always say what we're grateful for, so we'll take a little shift. So my name is Michelle. I am from Denver, Colorado. Originally been in South Florida most of my life, and I live in Fort Lauderdale now. And I'm very grateful for all of you, for Bombay, for being here. Feel very blessed, and I, coming from Colorado, love Mexican food. I miss it, like, from there. And, yeah, so that's me.
Hi. I thought you were going to go left.
I go to the right.
No.
She wasn't ready.
She wasn't ready.
No,
Now you're
I just looking practice.
spotlight's on you.
Got this.
So my name is Melody. I'm originally from Peru. I came here when I was very young, like 13. So most of my life I've been living here in Florida, Miami. Then I moved to Fort Lauderdale. And I'm grateful for being here too. It's like being back to Bombay. It's been amazing. It really has changed and shifted my life. It really has. Like teaching, it's amazing for me. So rewarding, just seeing the faces of all of you guys, the students. Once you're done with class, to me that's it. And getting back to a studio to teaching, it's amazing. It's totally different than being outside or Zoom class. The studio is definitely a different energy. And favorite food, and that's where I was stuck. I don't really have like a favorite dish per se. Like I eat it all. I was thinking about it the other day actually. I'm like, what's my favorite food? Because we were talking about it at work. So I like everything, but I'm allergic to shellfish. So anything else, I'm good. Yes.
Thank you, Melody.
You're welcome.
I'm Susan. I'm from originally New York. I've been here for about going into my 16th month. I live in Fort Lauderdale. And I'm going to do it backwards. I can tell you the food better than you. I thought about it. I think I like Italian food, and I agree with you. It's not like New York Italian food.
Yeah.
And Chinese food. And steak. Oh, I'm sorry. Everything here is not the same.
You see?
You like melody, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like,
I'm very picky, but I will say that New York is pretty good on their restaurants. And
yeah, their pizza, it's totally
Pizza,
different.
oh, right, don't get me
Yes,
started,
yes,
but,
yes.
I ask people all the time where can I get a good slice of New York pizza around here. I'm grateful. You know, there's not a day I look back and say that I shouldn't have moved here. So I'm just grateful that I had the courage to pick myself up and get out of New York and come down to Florida. And I'm not going to say I love the drivers, but everything else about it is just perfection. So I'm grateful for Florida.
Thank you, Susan.
Luca, check out Luca in South Beach. That's a very good pizza. That place is a nice Italian place,
All right,
Luca.
I'll see you all. Have a good
Yes.
day.
Luca, yes.
I'll write that down before we leave.
Next door's not bad.
Who?
Next door. It's very good.
Right here?
Correct.
Oh, this is now it's going to turn to pizza places. Okay, I'm sorry.
that's a
Move
little
that
bit,
around.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Was it, sorry, I was confused. Do you not like the New York drivers or the Florida drivers?
Florida.
Do you think Florida are worse?
Beyond, because they don't know how to drive. New York know how to drive, they're just nasty. But here they don't know, and they don't know, I mean, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Again, another conversation for another time.
Hello, thank you. My name's Louisa, and I've lived here for a very long time, most of my life. I guess you can say my family's from up north. I'm grateful for many things, including my health, including Michelle. She's helped me out a lot in my life. And I really enjoy watermelon.
I like watermelon.
Me too.
Yay, thank you, Louisa.
Hi, I'm Carol. I live in the neighborhood since '88. I grew up in the same neighborhood in New Jersey till I was 17. I went to the University of Tampa. I'm a retired Holy Cross nurse, and I'm in a funk because my elderly mother, 90, died, and when she passed, I was with her. She stayed with me for years, 4 years, and she was getting bad. It was time to go, but she didn't want to go. And then, the last couple of weeks, she had like a mini kind of bad stroke where she was slurring and then couldn't eat. And so when she passed, I told her to close her eyes, but I felt a power come through me and I was flipped out. And it still comes over me sometimes. So one of my friends said, oh, that's vibration. She passed something to you, but still it's been flipping me out. So sometimes I don't have it and sometimes it comes on me. Anyway, I've been walking the neighborhood and it's been so hot, I got sick a few times, but Thursday night, I saw your poster and I said, COVID be damned, I'm going. My mother's gone, I can't pass it. I wouldn't go inside for 2.5 years, nowhere. I ate outside a lot. And I said, I'm going. And I thought, well, I don't know who's going to take care of me if I get sick, but I'm going. And then today I felt positive. I was like, I'm going. And I was proud to say I had most of my clothes ready to just pick, which was good, because when you're in a weird place, dishes can set and laundry can set, and like every day I try to do something, and then I go for my walk, and I'm like, so it's been cool since got a terrible hurricane, but even today I kind of had deja vu walking over here from the Jersey Shore. I felt it's like it's going to be all right, just take it easy, but obviously, it's been a lot for me.
Yeah.
New life, new beginning. I don't really want to go back to work at the hospital. And I'm just like, well, I should do something. I don't know. And then I saw that. I'm like, I'm going. And I'm very, very glad.
Here you
Welcome, Carol. You did it. You're here.
Yeah.
We welcome you with arms open.
Yes.
We're glad that you're here and that you took that step forward for yourself.
Carol, what's
That's
your favorite food?
Oh, I like Italian too. Any kind. All kinds. I watch, I love the YouTube with the food. And I go with a list to make the recipe.
Oh, yum. I'm coming
During the
over.
lockdown, my mother we had to eat. So
There you go.
it started getting pretty good.
I'd like to say something. I'm also a nurse.
Oh.
And I particularly find that nurses are very empathic people. And we do, when my mother passed too, this energy was tremendous. And it took a solid year for me to be able to get off the couch and, you know, and be able to pick yourself up. And the fact that you are here
Mm-hmm.
is the beginning of your healing, and it's a process, you know, you dealt with patients. And I just think you need to give yourself a, you know, pat on the back that you've taken the first step.
It's like, I won't cry, I'm
That's
all right.
okay.
No,
It's okay.
It's okay to
It's
cry.
okay.
It's like when you think about it and then the same feeling comes, I'm like, sometimes I don't even want to think about it. I don't even, you know, and I didn't go in the room.
But you loved her.
But
It's
lately, like the other day, after what that storm was here was Wednesday, so Thursday, I opened up all the windows. And speaking of that, to be grateful, my mother's estate paid for hurricane windows. I live in the same building since '88, and I had to. They were forcing me. There was 39 people that didn't do it, and she paid for that, $21,000. So my quest in life is to learn to be grateful, because I have a lot, but I'm like a moaner and a whiner. But I mean, I'm not like one, like everything now, but you know, if I see something, it's like really, and I don't know. But I was very grateful for that during, even on Tuesday and Wednesday night, right? And
That was
Thursday, I
Wednesday,
stayed
yes,
home
yes,
Thursday, it
yes.
was whipping, and I was like, Ma, you know, because I told her, don't come to visit me, because she said she would. And I'm like, do not come for 2 months. Daddy, don't, nobody, I'm not
Not
well.
yet, I'm not
I'm
ready.
sick. And my friends are, I'm like, I'm sick. They're like, are you on heroin? You keep saying I'm sick. But I mean, I have cool friends too, you know, like not so much around here. My friends are mostly, you know, retired nurses out west or in New Jersey. I mean, they're all like, that's kind of normal, okay? Like, what'd you think it was just going to be? Yes, I did, because when my mother and I had talked about it, we knew she was going to die for years.
Yeah. No.
She didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And I told her many times, you can go, I'm going to be all right. You know, and
She knew better.
she didn't want to go. And then one day she goes, I said, are you going to die today? Yes. I was like, it still took 2 more weeks from that point. But it was hard because she couldn't eat hardly, and she was a DNR. But she asked me not to put her in a home or in the hospital. And I got, during the lockdown, I got all kinds of medicines via India and Abu Dhabi, where I was a nurse one time. And everything for the COVID, everything for antibiotics for old ladies, this and that, you know. And so I just took care of her at home, and I wasn't going to call it, but I'm telling you that last 10, 11 days, you know, they just get all skinny, and, you know, and it's like, oh my God, you know, she's like, it's okay. I go, it's all right, Mom. Finally, I said to my father and her mother, come get her now. And I said, it's a perfect day, Mom. I'm good. I went swimming. I feel good. Last thing she had was a little chocolate ice cream. I went on a beautiful red shirt, but it was weird. The vibe, I couldn't believe it. And it's not good sometimes. You know, just go trembling down the road because you think of that moment. But I did open up the window when she was dying, because the Jamaican nurses told me, oh, open the window, the spirit flies out. So I did everything. I had the last rites for her. Yeah.
Yeah. You did all that you could. You were there for her, and
Well, my brother said it's because when the police came, the doctor who signed the DNR, Dr. Gupta's husband, he was dead. He died of heart attack. God rest his soul. And so the new doctor from Holy Cross over here at the Winn-Dixie's Plaza, she had left the practice, so they couldn't get a hold of any doctor to sign off. And so they told me my mother would have to have an autopsy at 9 years old with papers that says she had tumors here and mini strokes. And they were really nice to the cops, the firemen, but that caused trauma, that word. You know, because I'm a nurse, I know exactly what it is. And then he spoke to my sister-in-law on the phone, and then he said, talk to your sister, okay. She said, call me when the coroners come. And then he whispers, listen, this is a crime scene. Don't touch your mother, okay? So that's what my brother thinks, that it should have dissipated, and actually my mother had a peaceful journey, but because of that.
Are you kidding me? They did that?
Yeah, so he says it's kind of like a trauma thing from They took pictures of my home.
Oh my God.
There was a lot of people in my house.
No wonder you were traumatized.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He said you couldn't enjoy because I knew it was happening. So I closed your eyes. I said, "My closed." Because when my cow, I put her down, I saw the pupils constricted, and that kind of flipped. So I'm not going to have that with my mother. So, and then that happened, and I was like, that caused the people taking pictures in your house and saying, "Don't put your mother's favorite shirt." They were all nice though. Everybody lovely in this neighborhood. But
They knew it was crazy, but it was a process they had to
he
follow.
did say, and they tried everything. And I called Holy Cross, and I tried to get my people. So that's a lesson learned today. You got to make sure
Get your DNR.
we have the DNR, that some doctor will sign off on it.
Maybe just next, maybe, I don't know, what if you'd waited 2 hours? I think the DNR option would have long passed. Just, no, I never thought
They
of that.
knew it was
Yeah.
crazy too, but the coroner wouldn't do it. And I still don't have the cause of death. So I waited for like 2 days, all cleaned up, ready to go to county. And the mother, she couldn't eat. Was I supposed to bring her to the hospital? You never know these days. I have a neighbor who thinks I did wrong. Put the tube. No. And my mother had a full, none of that stuff. It was rough, but I did it. But I did do it. So I was like, they're going to take me away. So
No.
that's how my summer's been. But I go walking.
Poor thing.
And by the time I get to the ice cream shop, which I dream about at night because I'm always on a diet, I'm like, I'm too hot. I'm too hot. I don't even want that $7 ice cream. You know what I mean? Anyway, sorry.
No,
I
don't
feel
be
better
sorry.
though. Sorry.
Good.
I dumped it all on me.
No,
Good.
that's what
One
we're
day you
here.
can dump it on me.
Good.
We're
We
here
know you
for.
like Italian food and ice cream.
Yes,
Thank you so much, Carol. We send you lots of love,
Thank you.
and we can
Thanks.
return back to some of that as we move around. Yeah, we know that that's really one of the toughest things that all of us will
Yeah.
go through if we haven't gone through it already. I can't even imagine, and I'm sorry that it was so traumatic for you. And we can definitely spin back around to talk more about that if we want to. In that process, but I'm going to pass it over here now to Jim.
Hi, guys. My name is Jim. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. I've been down here since 2006. I was a couple blocks away. I'm grateful for Michelle and Bombay and all of this. Now I'm grateful for Carol being here and to be part of this. And for,
Very nice.
I'm
That's my
grateful that
pleasure.
we're here for her. So that's
I guess I needed it.
Yes. Yes.
Talking to myself in the shower is not going as well as I thought it would.
Well, you're in the right spot.
Yeah.
Oh, and so for lunch I had grilled cheese. That's my favorite sandwich, or my favorite food for today. Grilled cheese,
Alright.
nice and comfy.
I love grilled cheese.
Yay! I do too. Thank you, Jim.
Hi, I'm Marissa. I'm originally from Binghamton, New York, and then I lived in Manhattan for 10 years and LA for 21 years. And I just moved here in October, so it's in 2 weeks will be a year. And my favorite food, see, I grew up on Italian, all homemade Italian, so I just don't really do it anymore, and I avoid gluten, so I'm kind of not really a good Italian, I guess. But I like fish. I don't eat meat, and I try to be vegan, gluten-free, everything except for fish, and I try to go for long stints giving it up too, and I just can't. It's also good fish and seafood.
Thank you.
My name is Abby, and I'm originally from New Jersey. And I came down here in 1983. I do not regret being in Florida for a moment. I have had 2 new lives here in Florida, and they've both been very interesting. And I'm very grateful for, well, I have 2 great, wonderful grandchildren. I have a son and a daughter-in-law who actually adores me, which is a miracle. Because I was the worst daughter-in-law ever. I could not stand my in-law. I figured I was going to get it back in karma, but they just skipped over me. Thank you. I'm just missing that. And I have good friends, and I have a home that I love, so I have a lot to be grateful for, as well not weird to me. And I know I'm not talking to my mother because I'm not completely insane. But whatever that you felt that came into, that's, I think what I'm tapping. I'm like knowing, like if I'm having a conversation, I know what she would say because I know her that well and I knew her that well. And you'll get to a place, I think, not so far from now, where you'll be very comfortable with it. I mean, your mom was ready to go.
Yes.
Your mom was ready to go. It wasn't like she got, hit by a truck or something. So, and you were there and you gave her everything she needed for such a long time. So it will become a good thing for you. And my favorite food is crispy skinned baked potato, salad, and vanilla ice cream.
Wow. I love it.
Are those two separate dishes?
Well, I put the ice cream separately, but definitely I would
Everything
eat
else
the
together.
baked potato with the salad.
Depends on the night.
Yeah. Thank you, Abby.
My name's Patrick. I'm from New York City. I live in Lauderdale by the sea now, and grateful for Michelle Bombay, my journey, the present moment, the fact that we get to gather here as opposed to, being on the West Coast and doing all that craziness. And my favorite food is chicken parm.
I love chicken parm.
Every guy loves chicken farm.
Our stomachs are all
I know.
Patrick,
There
you
is
know,
sound healing, there is
Patrick,
sound
you know, I
healing.
have to ask you, where to get the best chicken parm around Fort Lauderdale?
The jury's still out.
Oh, okay, a New York boy.
You know this place, the one in, where are we?
Patrizia?
We're
Patrizia,
Oakland,
New York.
D'Angelo. One with the DN, it's past US 1 on the left side.
Yeah.
Casa D'Angelo?
Yes,
Yeah, near the post office.
yeah, and then this place you go down on Sunrise, what is that called?
Milano's?
Trattoria, the one by where CVS used to be, where is it? Serafina. They
Oh,
have good pasta
yes.
there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Serafina's
forgot
really
that place,
good.
okay.
Yeah, I like that place.
Good to know.
I always like everything at Louis Bossy, that's always,
Louis Vuitton has
Just
good
salted.
meatballs, but some things are not all.
Let's get back. Let's get
7-Eleven.
back. Let's talk Italian after, all right? Let's talk about
Really, where are you gonna
meatballs
eat
later.
after?
Well, apparently Italian food just won hands down.
I
Yeah.
don't know about the meat there, but I know the fish is
Oh,
A few dishes
try
at the
it.
table,
Fish.
all just
Yeah.
share.
Truly, people do YouTubes and podcasts and all of that strictly on food, and there's a ton of that people will tune into and talk about all day, and so that's great conversations. Though I would like to shift the direction of food.
How happy are you that you added that?
I'm thinking maybe next time we'll have a different icebreaker. It's cute though, and I like it. It's fun. We want to have fun, and we want to bring ourselves in high vibrational states of being and having fun and talking about things that we like, are enjoyable, and they bring us into those spaces. But I would like us to dive into a little bit of the heart of us being here, and I usually come up with a topic of conversation, and of course I did not think of one until I'm like, what are we going to talk about? And then then it came to me as an idea, and I start us off with a little bit of a topic, and then we are welcome to stay on that topic if you're off the topic, whatever you want to talk about, have questions on, want to know about, ask about. That's what we're here for. So I thought about the idea of non-attachments, and maybe starting us off with this topic of non-attachment and opening up that for our discussion today. Non-attachments to things, people, circumstances, situations, events. Non-attachment of results and outcomes, right? we tend to attach ourselves to a lot of these things without knowing. We don't have a conscious awareness that we're doing that at times. And so I like to bring to us that awareness that maybe brings a new light to you, to where you might be holding on to attachments to someone or something, right? So we tend to sometimes, like, I think I thought about it too when you were speaking about your mom, and your mom didn't want to go, and that is in itself attachment to life. We live our lives here in fear because we're so attached to this life in itself, and yet we forget that life is eternal. Life is everlasting, and that we, as our physical body here, dies and stays, but our spiritual being lives on forever. And so where then there is no fear of death, because we move on, we transition. There's always life after death, because it just transforms into another energy, into another source. And so, yeah, the whole world gets in an uproar, you know, because we get so into fear of dying, right? So we really attach ourselves to those things that we don't even live our life fully here, because we're so attached to the fear of death that we miss out on a whole life of living here and living this experience on earth. That we don't live out our passions, and we don't follow our hearts and live our dreams, because we're just so scared of death, right? So it's a big one sometimes, and sometimes a touchy topic, actually, it can be. It just presents our limiting beliefs about things a lot. And so I open up our conversations to this, and where maybe any of us have a certain struggle of it or a triumph of it, where we notice that we have an attachment to something, and then we were able to release it, and we found what the result was then after that. I find balance and harmony is the key. Balance and harmony is the key to everything. Everything is energy. And so if I'm holding on to something, I can feel that energy. It's an attachment to that. It's a hard knot in my belly. It's a stress. It doesn't feel good when we have that attachment to things. And the physical body lets us know. Yes, Abby?
I probably won't have anything to say because I'm pretty much attached to everything. And the only thing I'm really not afraid of is death. So, but other than that, I attach like freaking Velcro to people and things and
outcome.
Well, outcomes. I'm better not with the outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm better at not attaching to outcomes, but I definitely am an attacher.
So do you feel stressed?
Not by that.
Okay. So what are you attaching yourself to exactly? Like with a person, like in a way, then what is the attachment? What are you holding on to?
I think just that connection of the person.
Mm-hmm. And then what happens when that changes? Who do you become?
Well, I haven't really lost anybody recently that I was very attached to, but when I did, it was years. I mean, years and years before I wasn't, suffering from that no longer attachment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much how it's always been with me. I'm not the person that goes, well, it was and now it isn't. And I guess there'll be new things.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So you want to hold on to that.
Oh, yeah.
You want to live in the past with it.
I struggle to,
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, my friend, like you ask people, like, if you could go anywhere in time, where would you go? And most people will say something back. there are a few people who will say, I want to go 1,000 years in the future. I want to know what's happening. The idea of saying that never occurred to me, ever. I mean, it's always been like, okay, I'd like to live in the 1800s in France. Or, you know, I think I had a life there. I'd like to go see what that was like. But most people never think of what time would you like to go in? They don't say, I'd like to go 20 years from now, or 100 years from now, or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody says that. I guess because we're all kind of attached to what we know.
And what was your answer
Oh,
to that question?
1800s France.
Why?
I'm very attached to that era, to that country, to the language.
What country?
France.
Oh,
I mean, I definitely feel that there's been a life somewhere there in the past,
Yeah.
for sure.
There can be maybe a past life that was there, that was lived by through you at another time, but the attachment to continuously just keep yourself in that rather than staying present here and now. Being
Right.
here, you're here now. You're
Yeah.
not in the 1800s anymore. If
Oh,
you
no.
were, you had an experience then, but now is where life is.
Right.
So
I'm pretty good at present, at bringing, but it's a learned skill. Bring yourself to the present moment. I
Mhm.
literally, it's like memorizing multiplication tables. Once you know them, and it comes naturally.
Mhm.
I had to memorize that and remind myself all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is a constant reminder all the time. I always say it's a full-time job. Yes.
I get some of my best lessons watching other people's behavior, because sometimes when you're too close to it, you can't see objectively your own behavior. But when I see other people's behavior, and I had an interesting experience this afternoon, a friend was talking to me on the phone, and she's older than I am, and she has a fellow that came back into her life at 82 and she's 77 into her life, and so and he wants to re-engage, and she's loved him for many years. And I said, this is wonderful, you have a new opportunity. I can't forgive him from something he did 10 years ago.
No.
I said, you're 77, he's 82, you're gonna die soon. I said, seriously? And we started talking about being in the moment, and every time something like that happens, it's a lesson for me. So I appreciate when I hear somebody else say something I find a little odd. It reminds me how important it is to be now, here and now. But with attachment, it's very hard, because if you're attached to people, there's the heart that's connected to it, there's emotions, there's ego, there's chemicals and hormones. And I tried very hard to detach, but sometimes the intellect doesn't match the desire or the body's chemistry that's saying, but I want more, I want more. And I try to do it all the time. I have been abysmal failure recently, but in theory, I know what I need to do. I cannot execute it. It's very, very difficult. The heart wants what the heart wants, and sometimes it's hard to control.
Is it the heart or is it the ego?
No, it's the heart. My ego has been decimated at this point. No, it's not the ego. It's
Because
the
the heart only wants what's best for everyone anyway, the core depth of us. So the ego can feel like it's like this thing that's acting like the heart, but it's not really the heart, because the heart is not going to be attached. The heart one is free. The heart is free.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, like
the heart's
and
going to be free.
yeah, like she was saying, right? And you were on that part. It's like I was somewhat dating someone that didn't work out. So in my heart, I knew that wasn't gonna work out. But my head, like, but let's try, let's do. But I knew deep down, like I would get like this energy thing that you're saying, right? Like goosebumps and energy, but not in the right way. Like when we talk, it's in a different way. Like anxiousness, it's a different vibration. So even though my heart, I'm heartbroken, but I knew that wasn't right. So for the first time, I was able to detach.
Yeah, you were
Which
able
that
to
was hard.
differentiate.
It was really hard. I'm not, even till now, that was back in January. I still think of it. But I was able to put myself first and say, you know what? This is toxic. I've been doing a lot of healing. This is not who I am anymore. I need to let it go.
that's a situation that's not good. I'm talking a situation that is good.
No, it was
That's
good.
it. No,
But
I mean, it ended.
It was good at the time, but I could see, it's like you see things in a different way, you know?
I
Like,
understand.
it's, because I could have easily gone because things were good, but there are certain things that you know in your heart, like, it's, I don't know how to explain it,
No,
but
but every
you just
situation is
know.
different, and I totally hear.
Yes,
In that
yes, yes.
situation, you had your instincts of what to do, and like I said, believe me, I've been there too. So I'm just saying, detachment
yeah.
is very difficult.
It
It's,
is,
you
it
try
is.
it, it's very hard. It depends on the situation.
Yeah, it's difficult, yeah. It's not easy.
I read something one day that said, all suffering is rooted in attachment.
Yeah.
What is it?
The Four Noble Truths, suffering is caused by craving and desire, yeah. So, craving and desire, attachments and aversions, attachment to pleasure, aversion of pain, and so you let go of everything, yeah. Four Noble Truths of Buddhism, yeah.
And it's the same with attachment to then good things. I mean, it goes all around. Attachment to being so, I have to be full of joy and happiness every day. Like, that's an attachment to, you know, and as much as we want to keep our energy in high vibrational states of being, and we want to keep ourselves in a healthy space, and, you know, to choose to be joyful and choose to be happy, but to have attachment to that, then if you're not that, then once again, who do you become? And are you able to manage yourself? And so it takes us back to balance and harmony. It's about kind of keeping that neutral, balanced state. And that's where that freedom all lies, for everything to kind of just be still and to be, and to allow things and people and circumstances to flow to you naturally. And you know when you know. You know when you, like, there's a knowing when things are right for you, and when they move to you in an effortless being, and you don't have to fight for it. You don't have to long for it. Like, that longing is not love. That is a totally different vibration, like you mentioned earlier. So, you know, that longing is attachment. Longing is attachment, clearly. Like, so there's these pieces of us that just to create awareness of where is that coming from within me, and how can I work within myself to release that attachment and let things happen naturally for me, let things happen organically for me. So that way, you know, again, things just come when they're meant to, and there's no forcing or fighting it.
Can't mess up what's meant for you.
You can't mess up what's meant for you, and you can't stop what's meant for you. It will find its way to you. And so there's that. There's that old saying, I love that saying back in the day, was like, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it's yours to keep. If it doesn't, it was never meant to be, right? And that's with all things. Set it free. That is the heart. That is love. That is setting it free. The heart is free.
Love.
Unconditional. Like, I wish you well. You don't have to be with me. You know, I send you love. I don't have to have the relationship. I don't have to have, you know, this or that or happening in my life. I don't have to have, you know, somebody sign up for a package. You know, I don't care whether you do or you don't. Like, that's my freedom. That's my freedom. But there's that piece of attachment. Like, okay, you need to make a sale. Well, I need to make the sale. That's attachment right there, and that energy is also going to be a force of energy that is going to resist what you want. So you probably won't make the sale because you need it, right? So there comes into those spaces. That's why come back to balance and harmony, keep the neutral energy flowing, because when you don't care, it's free.
Yes.
It's free.
And that's when
And that's your power. But when we're holding on to it, you lose your power. You lose it all. And you give yourself to the other thing. And the other thing really resists you and doesn't want you. Whatever it is, a person, a thing, money, whatever. It doesn't want you. As long as you are longing for it, wanting it, attached to it, have to have it, need it, you know, all of that. All of that energy is pushing that thing that you want away. So recognize it. Have an awareness of it. Take a breath in. Exhale. Do the practice. Breathe. And just just like we did in the beginning of our practice, we came in, we're all like riled up, we all have like this commotion going on, we feel that energy, we do the meditation, we bring things back to balance, right? Everything went back to neutral, back to harmony. That's what you do. That's what you do in all these situations. Anytime you find yourself in a situation where we are even slightly, the idea of that attachment comes in, come back to this practice and watch that, let the energy subside. And then through that space of meditation anyway, and beyond 3 minutes, but if you do a good, sit in a good, maybe, I would recommend 20 to 30 minute meditation at the least. But then in that stillness, in the silence, to allow the answers to be revealed to you, what is best for you in the situation. Because it all gets revealed all the time. And if you're looking for the answers in the moment, it's not coming either. And I say that often in class. Don't look for the answer, just be. And then when you're off like washing the dishes, all of a sudden, that wave of message, that little, it's gonna talk to you. It's gonna say, and it will lead you and guide you into the best way for everything to work out for your highest good. It will lead you and be able to lead you to an action step to do this or to don't do something. It always leads and guides us though, divinely, and it will let you know. Yes, Jim.
Patrick already alluded to like the craving. So a lot of what I thought about on attachments had to do with that, with suffering. A desire or craving is a cause of suffering in the Four Noble Truths. And so for me it was attachments, but also the negative form of that is the aversions. Like what do I keep trying to avoid that I don't want to do? There's an attachment to not wanting that. So I put attachments with aversions as two sides of a coin, and that's how I've always kind of practiced or worked on those things. And another thing for me with the attachments, you asked Abby about her relationship. What if that changes? So I put impermanence in whenever I talk about attachment as well, because impermanence, everything changes all the time. So if the attachment is going to change, so you can't be attached because that's just the nature of the world with the impermanence of it.
Yep.
And so, and for me over the years, some of the outside things that we've talked about, relationships, outcomes, jobs, whatever else, my hardest one personally has been like opinions and beliefs, because you become attached to what you believe, what your opinion is. Even if you think there's eternal life forever, I'll just submit to you that's a belief, and are you attached to that belief? So for me, that's been like a deeper level of going into realizing my interpretations, my opinions, my beliefs, and do I become attached to them, and how that influences my life. So just some other thoughts on
You're right, absolutely.
But I think what you said is very interesting. Just excuse me, what you said about your beliefs and attachment, is that right or wrong? But there are 8 billion of us, and we all have our history. And like I said, if you didn't have beliefs, then you're kind of free floating to believe what? Nothing.
It is what it is.
Right.
It's impermanent.
Exactly.
Yeah, what I was going to say is it actually leads to people not getting along with each other, different family members or friends, or wars within countries. It's like someone's so stuck on their belief, and this is what's right, or this is the right religion, or this is the right, how we should be dressing or acting or whatever. Or, like some people's attachments and beliefs are, creating conflicts and wars. And I just had some friends in town. Hopefully this part doesn't get posted because I don't ever want them to hear it.
No names.
But they've got their own ideas of a lot of the stuff that's going on, and they're in some deep dark holes, and it's like, and then they try to push it on me and try to fight with me about certain things. And I just try to change the subject and keep them off because I don't want to fight about it. But also I've been attached lately, they're gone now, but I've been attached to wanting to prove how wrong they are, because it's like some crazy shit that they're like believing in and doing.
You gotta run away from trying to change.
Yeah, and it's like, these are friends, but it's kind of like, I guess in life, as you go on, you just kind of gotta let go of some people, or the attachments to some people or friendships, or the attachment to being right, or all that sort of stuff.
Sure, that attachment to being right, that's the ego.
Mhm.
It's only the ego. The ego is the only one that it wants to be right. It wants to have that satisfaction.
Yeah.
But, when we let go of that attachment of being right, first of all, when we do what is best for us, managing ourselves in the best way that we know how to, then being right doesn't even matter. Like, I love this book. What was the book? I think it was How to Win Friends and Influence People?
Dale
Dale
Carnegie.
Carnegie.
Yeah.
I probably
That's
read that book a
ancient,
few
yeah.
times. Yeah, it was, and I think one of the things that mainly stuck out for me in that book was that there was a piece in that, and he was going on, I think it was a radio show or something, somewhere in California, a radio show, this or that. I'm trying to pull back my memory bank of the scenario. And, there was a conversation with, somebody that, or no, it was a movie. I don't remember the scenario, but he was with somebody, right? And the person's talking, saying da 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 da. He, within himself, was like, I know he's off his rocker. Like, you know what I mean? But if I tell him he's off his rocker and I want to prove to him that he's wrong and I'm right, it will damage the friendship and the relationship. And is that worth that to me? And is that what I really want to do right now? Do I really feel the need to need to do that? Because the repercussion of that, then, thinking ahead, is that's what's going to happen.
Right.
And so, he was like, but I don't need to be right. I don't need to be right. And so he will find his way to be right when that information will shift around for him, again, naturally, organically. Let people be what they want. Let them think and believe whatever they want. It doesn't matter what they think and believe. It only matters what you think and believe, and what you do, and how you handle yourself, and how you manage yourself, and then you relieve yourself of that responsibility. You relieve yourself of that stress. It's that attachment of gosh, but they're my friends, but I really want them to. No. Well, they will find their way when they're ready. It's their path. It's their journey. This is your path. It's your journey. And so that is, again, freedom. It is allowing things to just be, and to let them, trying to correct people is often the way that we damage relationships.
But what's annoying too is that's what they're doing to me.
To you,
Well,
yeah.
right.
They're like attacking me and like fighting and so aggressive, and a lot of people with those sorts of beliefs, that's how they are. They'll die on their sword for this craziness that they think or believe, or and they're pushing on me and want to fight with me, and it's like talk about this, and I'm constantly having to change the subject. Just keep the peace, because it's like sometimes
You may be right. You may be right.
Yeah, just be open, because if you say you may be right, then they might be more open to hear you. But if you're like, if you just, you want to shut them down, anyway, we hold space. And the biggest thing is holding space. Holding space for people opens up the whole airwaves for them to possibly think of something new in a new direction. But if you're just like, then it's never gonna, the door's closed. Yeah. But if you can hold space for people and the vastness of all of life and all the possibilities, then you give possibility to new perceptions by one of somebody else, a new, idea, a new belief that maybe will arrive through that other person. Yes.
My whole life I was arguing with my dad about, I was right. And we'd go somewhere, it's 5 minutes. No, it takes 10 minutes. I told you I was right. That's his thing. He's got to be right, or I got to be right. And I was his clone. And I was in the car one day, and it was me, my brother, and my dad. And they were arguing about how a contractor stole some money from them, or said that we can do something, and took the down payment and never came back. And he wants to go to the house, and I'm like, you're just attached to it. What? What do you mean? Somebody take your money, you ain't gonna do that? I said, listen, I just took a step back. I said, it's okay. You don't understand, and that's all right. And that may not have been the right answer, but
Approach,
it was
right.
the disengagement, the unattachment to me having to prove my point
Mm-hmm.
to somebody that's never going to get it.
Yep.
It's just wasting my time, your
Yeah,
energy.
Yep.
And
Better
then,
off
yeah.
we just move in a different direction.
That's
Yeah.
where I
You're gonna learn your
was
lesson at your
before
own time.
too, and now I got to the point where I don't need to explain or excuse my behavior to anybody. And funny you say that because I do have a friend, and actually two good friends, that we have different beliefs in different things, especially politics. We never talk about. I'm not well rounded in politics, so I can't talk, but there's few things that I do know. So she would always bring up politics, even though she would say, yeah, I never talk to politics to people, but she would always bring it up. And I just listen, I just listen. And again, she would always bring. And then until one day, I'm like, I belong to such and such party. She's like, you do, but you're not like them. Like there's this perception of people, how they should be. I'm like, yeah. And I gave a little brief, and she listened, and then she started getting, but this is it, and then I got, but this, and then I looked at her, and I go, because we're both yogis, I'm like, why are we fighting? And we weren't like fighting, no, we didn't get to that point, but for us, that was fighting, I'm like, why are we fighting? I said, there's bigger things than this, and like we are creating separation, and we teach this. Right? We teach this to people. And we both looked at each other and we hugged it out. Yeah. We hugged, we kissed, and we continued talking about something else. So it's what she's saying is the approach of not telling people, I'm right, this is my point, and this is it, is when you change. Like when I looked at her and I said, I love you. Why are we fighting? And it kind of like, it wasn't me being reactive. She really saw like, I love you. Like I really do, And she's like, and she paused and she's like, yes, why are we doing this? And that's when we hugged it out and we just changed the subject. Like that quick, it's starts within.
People get triggered by what people say and their ideas. And when you step away from that, it's huge.
Yeah.
I have my plate on my car in the front says, you can't arrest an idea. Because I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care what you think. I care how you behave. I care how you behave toward me, toward everyone else, toward the universe, whatever. I don't care what you believe. It doesn't matter. You can think anything you want to think. It's when your thinking goes into action in a way that it's going to damage someone else, then I'll stand up. It's like the most wonderful thing I ever read about religion, and I don't know who said it, but they said basically we go to war over religion because I'm arguing that my imaginary friend is better than yours.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, I kind of always felt that it's very divisive and weird that we all fight each other over something it's in your head. And you think whatever you want, believe whatever you want. And I love that statement because that's really kind of it. What he said is like, you believe, not everybody believes that there's more. Some people believe, you stop. It's like pulling the plug. The toaster will not make toast if you pull the electricity out. That's it. Toaster just sits there. And there are a lot of people who think that. There are other people who think that, the pearly gates open and you're, welcomed in. But it doesn't matter. All it really matters is how we behave to one another and to the planet. So actions are what matters, not being right when in an argument.
I feel like society nowadays, it's either pick a side,
Mm-hmm.
red or blue,
Mm-hmm.
pick a side, and if you're not on my team, we're going to argue and fight,
Right.
no matter our
Right.
values.
Right.
And that's society's tool, and they use attachments.
Separation.
For separation.
And that's
Tool for
exactly
division.
what, yeah.
Exactly.
And lies, there's a lot of
Mhm.
people
Yes.
purposely deceiving
Yes.
other people in lies.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
other people don't know, and,
no one's really dealing with the actual issues. And I like
Right.
Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey mentions in his book about like taking, he worked with world leaders, and it's taking people of different belief systems and really sitting together to really understand, first of all, the core and the essence of what's happening here. Because beyond the bickering, but what's the core? What's the essence? What's really what are we really asking for? Because the communication and the languaging of how to communicate these things is just completely lost with so many things, and even in our day-to-day relationships, we have not properly learned how to communicate how we really feel, what we really want, what is it we're really asking for. And so if we can't do that in our own homes, then obviously this is the result of this on a whole. But so we come together, and if we sit here and we're going to work this out, and we're not leaving until we do, and we're going to find an alternate solution to both of these situations, and that means we have to get bigger than this thinking that we're stuck into. We have to rise up and become bigger than these ideas. We got to think bigger and to find out what the balance is of both of these. So, and until we do that, then we're not leaving. And that's it. Like, it's a win-win for you. It's a win-win for you. It's a win-win for all. And until it's a win-win, then we didn't work it out. And that's that. And I love that. And that's always what, for me, comes back to, I always want to make sure that it's a win-win. I want to make sure that the energy for you is flowing just as freely as it is for me, and that when we finish our conversation that you feel light and good and inspired. And if you don't feel that, then we didn't work it out enough that makes that right, Like, I always personally want to make sure that there's free-flowing energy, because everything is energy, right? And I just think that kind of helps us to get these maybe ideas of, we have to think greater, and that takes some time and practice, and it's challenging. I mean, there are so many times here in the studio where I've had to deal with a certain situation, and it's going to be a challenge, or I have to talk to somebody or do something, and I'm don't just react to that situation and go by past behaviors or ideas of what has always been the scenario, and then have that knee-jerk reaction to the person and say what I gotta say. No, it's a crucial conversation that has to be handled. So I'm gonna work it out. First of all, I have taken sometimes weeks, months to work out these conversations in my own head, so I can think new thoughts, so I can think new languaging, so I can muster up what does it look like to have a win-win scenario. How am I honoring this person and the way that they believe and think, and how am I honoring myself and the way that I think and believe? And if I want this conversation to end in peace, love, and harmony, then what is the language that supports that? Because if I continue to just drop in old habits from the past and act out by lashing out, am I creating that win-win scenario? No. I have to think greater than what it has been. That means I got to sit down with myself and do the work. But who cares enough about any of us, about humanity, to do that? That's what I'm saying. Like, we all have to come together then to think greater, to get out of the past, to fire up those new neural networks in our brain, to think new thoughts, to think of new solutions, to be still and quiet so they come to you. Otherwise, we're just running on the same crap we've always ran on, and nothing ever changes. So we really have to work greater to come together so we can find better solutions to both ends of the stick. I mean, who's right and who's wrong? That's coming back to balance, and besides the fact that one end can only stretch so far as the other end before both ends burst, and then everything in that wants to come back to balance. Think of a rubber band. Where is it going to go? Back to balance. Everything in this universe wants balance and harmony, and so do the ends of the sticks. But that's where we're at. We're at the extremities of both anyway. So we are raising our vibration. We are raising consciousness. We are shifting in directions that hopefully allow us to move in those directions so we can create more balance and harmony. But it starts with us. It starts with each of us. Like, again, how are we releasing our attachments? I mean, this is a great conversation for the whole.
Well, you gotta be aware that you're attached to
That's right.
an opinion.
That's
And so,
right.
So you need the meditation and the mindfulness.
That's right.
And then you don't react. You have a chance to respond calmly.
Right.
You know. So yeah, we gotta do our own. If
Gotta
we all
do
do
your
our own
work.
piece, then we can interact with everybody else better.
Yeah, and we can be open to, I mean, I could listen to somebody on the other side. I'm actually so curious about, like, why do you think the way you do? Like, I am just mind blown. So I want to know. I really want to have the conversation. I'm so mind blown that I want to have the conversation because I'm like, teach me what I'm so confused over here why you think and believe this way, but I'm so open to the conversation, and I'm not here to debate you by any means. I want to know what in your life has led you to believe this, you know, because there's a story behind it, and I honor that story, and I get it. But like, you know what I mean? I know that I'm just gonna be. I just want to be open to the whole, to the expansion of it all, and to not be like, well, I'm right and you're wrong. Like, absolutely not. I have no right to be right. Who am I to be right about anything? Don't listen to me. I don't want anybody to listen to me. Even when you come to my class, don't listen to me. Okay? Listen to yourself. I want you to come back to you. You have all the answers inside of you, not me. You know? Yeah, there are people
a lot of
here
people don't
today.
even know why they have their beliefs. Like, you know, they
Right.
they
Oh, they
got it
just
from their
inherit them.
parents or their
Yes.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
people just download and they have these beliefs.
Correct.
So if you have a conversation, not in a challenging way, but just to have the conversation, sometimes it opens up eyes. You know, to like,
That's
"Oh,
right.
I don't know. I don't even know why I think that.
Yeah.
Exactly,
I-
yeah.
I-
And it's
Conversations
a
with
difference.
myself.
Yeah, no,
there's a
exactly.
different
Contemplating.
For the
approach.
first time in my life, I moved down here in December, and I haven't had an outside program telling me what I should be thinking, what I should be doing.
Yeah.
Oh, you should be getting a job. You should be doing this. Moved here. I didn't go to work for one day. I came here every day for a month, and met Michelle. And for this whole year, I haven't had that. You should that programming, to be able to unwire that and realize, wow, a lot of that was just fear-based, and that's how my parents grew up. They know nothing but worst case scenario. They don't know how to turn off that wheel when it starts flying down in their mind. And I don't blame them. That's all they know.
That's all they know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you gotta have compassion.
Right.
Yeah, you can have compassion, but at the same
Exactly.
time, like, I have to realize, like, whoa, that's the programming that I have.
Yeah.
I have to work so much harder to separate from that.
That's work. That's
Yeah.
good work.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not only your parents. You know, it's funny. I had this conversation with a friend the other day, and I said, you know, it's a shame with the school curriculums that they should be teaching 5-year-olds meditation and emotional intelligence. And she said, well, you never had children, you don't understand. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I said, wait. I said, hey, I've been around plenty of children, number one. And secondly, you're not hearing what I'm saying, but people are so married to their beliefs that they're always so ready to defend them.
Yeah.
And to be able to take the time to say, why do you feel that way, which I think is a brilliant answer, but people are so, you know, just to be able to train people at a very young age to stop and sit and think and breathe and manage your emotions, you know, evokes such an aggressive reaction. I was like, I think it would be brilliant rather than the garbage we learn in school. Let's start there, and then maybe we won't kill each other, and maybe we won't be fighting so much and be married to our opinions. I think it would be very beneficial. When I'm the leader of the planet, I will be doing that.
They have
Could go to
children's
Mars.
Vote for
Elon.
Susan.
Yoga and meditation, or as my
Yeah.
friend said, yogurt for everybody.
Some
I
schools,
broke
some
my son's yoga
schools,
when he was like
there's some
8 years
schools,
old.
there's a school in Boca where they do teach, that was as an elective, and actually, one of my students that he's autistic, he took his teacher training there.
I
as
think
a
it's
senior.
brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah,
Start 'em
and
when
he
they're like
actually
3.
got his degree,
Yeah.
because it was for a whole year, you know, so the teacher
You bring
was
them in for
able
nap
to-
time, and when they do nap time, you do a little meditation with them. And then you start them when they're babies. I mean, the whole world can use this.
We
It's
had
a
a
mess right now.
forward-thinking religion teacher in
What?
I had a forward-thinking religion teacher in my grade school. We were Roman Catholic, and he started implementing meditations. And I remember, like, what is this? Are we sleeping? What are we doing? We
Right.
put our head down on her, and I think I had some sort of vision or something. I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, but once the parents caught wind that a religion teacher
Right.
at a Roman Catholic school was teaching meditation.
Freaked out.
That was
They
it.
put it next to it right away,
Mhm.
and he couldn't do it anymore.
Listen, I have a
People
friend that.
won't take yoga because they think it's a religion.
Right.
Oh, I have
Yeah.
a friend who's a yogi that every time I come here calls it, "Oh, you're going to sleepy time?"
Mm.
And she's a yogi.
Mm.
And I always say what you said. It's the highest of the 7 or 8. What's you say about yoga meditation? It's the highest of.
Oh, samadhi, the highest
limbs.
level of consciousness, the 8 limbs of yoga.
Oh. 8 limbs.
All right. Well, good conversation today. Hope you all got some value out of our discussion.
I have a question for the class.
Okay.
What attachment are you going to work on this month?
What attachment are you going to work on?
I can answer that. Abby will understand. MLT.
Yeah,
You know,
outcomes.
it's
Totally
interesting, I
outcomes.
think,
I'm getting way better at
Yeah.
that, and that's been a godsend.
I try to apply the concepts to all different stuff. So I've been having trouble with my elbow from tennis elbow, and I keep trying to do things to heal it. And finally, I was like, I need to let go of trying to fix it and just let it be the way it is. In the last week and a half, it's way better.
There you go.
It's like way
Yeah.
better.
Yep.
And I'm like, stop
That's
trying to
the
just
trick.
let it go.
Let it
To
go,
control.
and it all
Trying to
works.
fix yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it go, and
So
it
it's
flows.
stupid. I mean,
That's it.
I wouldn't call that, you know, a premeditated practice I was going to go after, but it was just like, this is what's in my life right now, you know. It's just- So just to be aware of whatever's going on, you could apply this stuff to.
Yep.
I guess it's for me.
Yeah.
You can apply it to whatever.
Yeah. Well, good talk, guys. Let's take a deep breath in. Nice long exhale. And that concludes our Mindful Thinker group discussion time.